You're listening to the Fun Never Ends podcast with Metalhead Nelson and Brutal Brett. Find us at funneverendspodcast.com. Hey, welcome to the Fun Never Ends podcast. I am your Metalhead Nelson, and with me is Brutal Brett. Brutal Brett, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty well, but I'd like to welcome our special guest today. I'll let you take it away.
All right. If you're looking for gear, go on YouTube. You look up a lot of musicians, and everybody's doing reviews. This guy, I've been watching his reviews for like a long time, and I love his stuff. He's very intriguing. Perfecto De Castro, welcome to the show. How you doing, man?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. We finally made it happen.
Finally.
Yeah.
You went to NAMM this year. How was your NAMM experience?
Pretty good. It was hectic. I didn't think 4 days was not enough to see everybody. I think this is the first time that happened because I missed I missed meeting a bunch of people. So, but it was busy.
Yeah,
it was good busy.
I know how that goes. So many halls to go through, and I heard they shut down the basement hall.
Yeah, because everybody fit in the main hall.
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah. It's not as big as pre-pandemic NAMM.
Oh yeah. The last one, 2021 was
it's
still
2020 was huge, and I think that NAMM and the 2019 one were the first NAMMs to where I needed to start wearing earplugs because it was just so bad. It was loud.
Yeah, until the sound police comes down and tells everybody to turn it
down.
It
didn't matter.
It didn't matter anyway. They're not gonna shut
it didn't matter. There was I think 2019 or 2020 I was walking across the other halls, and then I noticed something like was weird or wrong. It's like, I wonder what's different. And I was by the sheet music. I was by the sheet music section. It's it's quiet.
Where Hal Leonard and Alfred, that is right in the front of.
It was quiet, so it was like, oh, weird. But
quiet in the sheet music. Who would have thought that?
That's like in Hall B. You walk in.
You know that's how you get guitar players to shut up, right? Put sheet music in front of them.
You mean nothing is in tabs? What are these? These are numbers?
Unless you're like Envy or like Radio.
Then you're just a savant. I consider that being a savant at that point.
Yeah.
You're not reading the music, you are the music at that point. You just touch the guitar and it plays for you. That leads me to my question. Being at NAMM, what were some new presets or effects or just some new technology that you saw that you really want to try to incorporate into your recordings, into your gear, or even into the way that you teach going forward with some of these new things that exist that we haven't been able to use before, or that are just becoming more adopted in producing, composing, or even teaching?
To be quite honest, I didn't really see anything new to me.
Fair.
At NAMM, a lot of them, like, because I do gear reviews and stuff, and I see a lot of this stuff before they're out, so I wasn't really surprised with with anything. Although I will say that nowadays it's so easy to record stuff and to get like good sound, decent sound right away. Whereas like, let's say even like 20 years ago, 2004, there's no digital modeling. It's hard to get audio into your computer. I mean, we were still in dial-up internet then, the most of us, right?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. But nowadays you can pretty much do everything on your phone.
Mhm.
Oh,
you can record a video on your phone. You can get you can get one of those Chinese made multi effects that you can plug into your phone, and then it records great audio right away with your camera and stuff. And now they're coming
yeah,
out with those little boxes that you can plug a mic in, so you can actually live stream
yeah,
and play at the same time. You know, so that's that's where we're at right now. And unfortunately,
yeah.
it's also easy to get to take tone
But
for
yeah, I think
granted.
I've seen those before. Those
Mhm.
are pretty interesting.
Yeah, I've been like a lot of the stuff that I review on my channel is about, you know, how to get guitar content out there quickly and easily. So there's I have a bunch of those. I have a bunch of those gear recommendations for that.
How did you get into the gear recommendations? How did you start, and when did you start?
Oh, um, I started YouTube when YouTube was young, when it wasn't old, was when it wasn't owned by Google. So 2006 thereabouts. And for the longest time, it was nothing more for me than just a place to stash my videos. Like I said, back then it was difficult to send large files, much less video files, right? So you can upload your video to YouTube, and you know, just send a link and people from across the world can see it, and all that. And I didn't really get into the gear. And oh, and then once in a while I would put up like a pedal board video, an amp video, a teaching video, whatever. But it wasn't really, it was more for me, you know. It was I was teaching a bunch of students at the time, and it was more for me not to repeat myself. So it's like, oh, here, go to my channel, watch this video, then come back next week and make sure you learn it, you know. So something to that effect. And then I think around 2015, 2016, I started noticing the gear demo aspect of it. You know, RJ Ronquillo, uh,
Mhm.
Rob Scallon, those, you know, Rob Chapman, Rabea Massa, those guys. So,
Oh, yeah.
um, so I started getting into it more, and then I decided around 2017 to really, you know, push the channel and be more consistent and really force myself to be more, to improve my videos, to improve my storytelling, and you know, just to get into the YouTube game. So that was 2017, um, and yeah, and then it just, you know, people found my videos and started watching, and then companies took notice, and then I really got into the game, or until really got into that whole scene when I started collaborating with the other content creators, you know, the Heading Polly, you know, Andy the Guitar Geek, and all those guys. Yeah, and prior to that, we were all each in our own little bubble, you know. And
Yeah.
then once I got to meet them, we got to share notes, so to speak. And yeah, so and then we started stealing off each other as far as approach and, you know, content goes, and content approach goes, not steal content. Yeah, and
This a whole
yeah, and then
different content.
yeah. So it's all like you know, it's all like helping each other.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that became, I became part of that community, and we, you know, help each other out.
Not only that, and you have your own music, which you you can be found on Spotify and all streaming services. You have a Warehouse Live Set 1 EP and a Set 2 that just came out.
Oh yeah. Well, prior to moving to the US, I was based in the Philippines, where that's where I started my career in the 90s. I was actually part of one of the biggest bands in the Philippines at the time. And then I went on to do other stuff, you know, producing records, dabbling into different genres, and all that. So the music part, um, there are some of the songs that I recorded are in every single Magic Mike karaoke Filipino catalog in the world. uh, yeah, so the Warehouse Live EP things, um, those were recorded the last time I went home to the Philippines. Usually when I go there, I put together a couple of shows. I have a band that plays with me, and then uh, one of my friends has this awesome warehouse with like really high end cameras, and he invited us
Oh
to
man.
film there. So it was, and they had they had the entire setup. You know, three camera setup, all Sony cameras. We had a, and then they had a full multi track recording rig as well. So we just did our live set in the warehouse, filmed with those cameras, and that's what it is. Initially, it was just that project was just to be video for the YouTube channel,
Mm.
and then I got requests for from people to put it on Spotify. So it's out on Spotify and music streaming services as well. So that's that.
And I want to actually ask about your time in River Maya, and to further say, how has the Filipino culture and being Filipino influenced your creative process in how you approach music and even your guitar playing? If it affects the way that you approach certain styles, if it approaches the way that you had started playing as well.
Okay, well, um, I guess it's no secret that a lot of people think that Filipinos are naturally musically gifted because I mean there's tons of TikToks going around of Filipinos singing karaoke. Have you seen that clip of that couple singing "Heart" in a bar?
Mhm.
Oh,
So that
I'm not on TikTok.
I I I was not naturally gifted, so I really had to work for it. So when I was like 13, I decided I wanted to play guitar, and then I realized that, and then I got into a band and all that. But for the life of me, I could not pick it up when if I had, like, let's say my cousin show me chords and all that, I couldn't understand it. So I really had to
Yeah.
take lessons. I took lessons at a local Yamaha music school and all that. But then once I started understanding how everything worked, then
Mm.
I just devoured every resource that was available to me. We had old Guitar Player, Guitar World magazines. It gets to the Philippines as unsold magazines, so they're all like at least 6 months old. So, but I would get those at the book sale and just learn and stuff. Um, as far as your question goes, as with being Filipino and how that affects my approach to music, um, I improvise a lot. Pretty much, I like improvising. I like doing my own take on things, um, and for the most part, I mean, in the Philippines, if you're in a cover band, they never rehearse. It's like uh, y- uh, you listen to the song enough times and you can sort of figure out how it goes, and okay, let's do it. It's not, we don't play the exact parts, but we play enough of it to make it sound like it's our own version. So
No.
which is interesting to me. And that was actually an eye opener when I moved here, because here you got to play the exact parts.
Mhm.
You got to make sure that the tone is right. You got to make sure that you're playing the exact, well, very close to the exact notes and all that.
Oh, yeah.
um so um I had to adjust my approach from there, from being to go from not being so free to somewhat of a structure, and then find a sort of a
Yeah.
happy middle ground there. you know um which is also interesting. I still don't play like when I do cover things, I still don't play things note for note like ACDC and stuff. But then people
Yeah.
come up to me and say, "Oh, I can't believe you nailed that ACDC solo." But all yeah, no, but all I'm doing is I'm not playing the notes. I'm playing the intention. I'm
Oh,
sort of yeah. I'm sort of the way I do it is during that moment I am Angus Young. you know so I may not play the exact same licks,
oh,
but all the things that makes Angus I put into that.
I would
So
say Slash is another great example where people say, "Oh, he's such a great guitarist," but when you break down the riff, it's just his styling. And I'm wondering if style and tone make for a much better playing approach than sometimes being musically inclined and having that theory behind it.
well um that's tricky because like I said, I wasn't a natural, so I actually relied on theory to understand a lot of the stuff that I wanted to learn. you know but my approach was always not to learn theory before I could play, but actually use theory to explain the stuff that I'm already playing. That way I understand it, I internalize it, and I can also share it easily. Because it's one thing. It's one thing. Let's say if I'm teaching you a lick, right? And let's say the pentatonic scale,
yeah.
right? Okay, so I can show you, I can tell you, okay, play the pentatonic scale on the first and second strings in this position, right? That makes so much more sense than, oh, just play this and close your eyes and play what you feel, man. That doesn't really help you. you, you know? So, yeah, anyway, so style is important. Tone is a product of style, and the theory behind it is a way to easily communicate it with other people, basically. Yeah, so I mean, a lot of these players, they're not going to be able to tell you, they won't be able to tell you what exactly they played. you know they'll
Yeah.
have a rough idea of what they're playing, and also they don't exactly play the same thing every time. It changes a little bit. So yeah, I mean, it's for me, like playing things exactly like the record is overrated. Yeah.
Speaking of players, I want to talk about your influences. Who are your top 5 major influences that inspired you to play guitar?
Oh, dude, it's
I know there's more than
e-
5, but if you had to narrow it down.
okay. Steve Vai would be uh, Steve Vai, Paul Gilbert,
Oh yeah.
Eric Clapton, uh, Eddie Van Halen, and what the heck, Richie Kotzen. There you go. Those guys. As far as electric goes, anyway. So, because the thing is, like, when, like I said, when I started figuring out how things work, I devoured everything. So,
Yeah.
if I find an article, let's say a Steve Vai interview, right, and then he mentions Steve Ray Vaughan offhand and a couple of other players, so I start hunting Steve Ray Vaughan, right,
Yeah.
and then I get into him for a long time. So that's another guy, Steve Ray Vaughan. And then Steve Ray
He's
Vaughan
great.
mentions, yeah, he's great. Uh, he mentions Jeff Beck and Albert King, and so I start hunting those guys down. Yeah, so it's the old adage, don't listen to your heroes, listen to what your heroes listen to, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it's it's a combination of that, and it's also interesting how, like, these past couple of years I've been revisiting my influences, um and there's a couple of names that I've already forgotten whose licks actually creep crept into my playing. Like recently Ingve Malmsteen made the rounds, right, from the Rick Beato interview, and I
Oh
was what and I was watching him, and then he was playing this lick, and it's like, that lick's familiar. I play that lick, but I never. Yeah, but I never was into Malmsteen. I never. I wrote him off. Like when I first saw concert footage of him playing, it's like, oh, I'll never be able to play that. you know. So that was when I was 15. But then fast forward to now, he plays this lick, and yeah, I played that
yeah.
lick. So I don't know if it was subconscious, if I listened to a Malmsteen record and it just
Yeah.
crept in, or if I learned it from somebody else who learned it from Malmsteen. You know, there's all sorts of
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I mean, uh, when Eddie died, Eddie Van Halen died. I didn't realize I had so many Eddie Van Halen licks. Because prior to that, he was
Yeah.
he again he was my he was the guy on the pedestal. He was the one to aspire to. I never really wanted to be Eddie Van Halen, but I wanted to be where he was. And
He
instead of
set the
instead
bar
of
already that.
yeah. So that was the bar that I had to reach. But I
Yeah.
never set out to study his style. But then it was like, oh, I do a lot of Eddie Van Halen stuff. I don't know where that came from, you know.
And you
So yeah,
incorporate it to your playing.
mhm. Yeah. But I listen to a lot of people, a lot of players. So one thing I used to do was, um, because let me step back a little bit. One of my goals was to be versatile. So even though I
Mhm.
listened to mostly shred guys, I actually listened to everybody. At some point I
Yeah.
was into Lee Rittenauer and Steve Lukather and all the session guys, Dan Huff and those guys. Um, to the point where one of my practice sessions was actually to tune to a pop radio in the Philippines and play along. Like, even if the
Mhm.
song didn't have a guitar part, well, what guitar part could I put over it? It's not just shredding over everything.
Oh yeah. Pretty cool.
So
Yeah.
that's a good practice regimen to get into. Yeah, but I listen to everybody.
I do have a question. It's actually my former guitar player or guitar teacher. Do you know him? Fast Freddie Rapillo. He used to play guitar for Spyro Gyra and Rick James.
Oh,
Uh,
I know
Rest
the
in
band,
peace,
but
though.
I don't know the guy. I
Oh,
haven't.
okay.
Yeah.
Just because a lot of your approaches were incredibly similar to his. So, he was a local LA based guy, but from Buffalo, New York. Um, he sadly passed away from cancer a few years
Oh.
ago. But no, just everything that you're saying is completely what he was trying to get through to my stubborn wanting to be a shredder and just playing heavy riffs. Um, but to lighten things up, as to him passing, I'll ask, what do you think of more progressive guitar players like Tosin Yabasi of Animals as leaders, or even bands like Polyphia, who are taking more of the theory approach, applying it to more, I guess, gent progressive metal in a sense, but also having it lean more pop and mainstream. What do you consider that type of guitar playing, and how it inspires younger musicians as an educator yourself?
Okay. I've gotten into trouble sharing my opinions on these guys.
Oh,
But and
really?
yeah, anyway, okay, I'm old school. I grew up in the '80s. I like melody. Um.
Yeah.
Oh God, this is going to get so much hate. Um.
Yeah, I doubt
I really like Polyphia, the
Mhm.
technical aspect of
Yep.
it, the way
Same.
I mean it's great. They're really good guitar players, right?
Yes.
And actually the whole band, the entire band, even and they have way more and more. They have way better technique and better and clean technique than I will ever I will ever get, right?
Interesting.
But their songs sound to me like backing tracks.
Yes. Thank you.
They sound like backing tracks. It's like throw every technique in the guitar with the chords and the little runs and all that, and repeat it until 2 minutes and 30 seconds are up.
You're not wrong. That I
Yeah.
don't know why anyone would hate that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's yeah, because I'm not saying that Polyphia is bad or that Polyphia doesn't make good music, but to me, it sounds more
Yeah.
like it's that it's a music bed.
Yes.
It's missing a top line. It's missing
Oh,
it's missing the line that grabs the listener and makes the listener identify with the music and hum it in his head and and dream about it and think about all stuff. That I think that's what's missing. So but they're great players. I can't play half their catalog. Same with animals as leaders. They're the I'd listen to them one pass and then I really don't have I really don't want to listen to it again.
Yep.
you know you know but it's great. I mean, it's a great technical feat. And if you're and to those of them to those of you who like this kind of music and groove to it every day, then don't let my opinion ruin your day. It's just because that's just me, and you like what you like, you know
speaking
so
of,
but
this is. Oh, sorry. I'll let you
go ahead.
finish. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
sorry.
Go ahead.
No, sorry. Yeah. No, actually that's it.
Since we're on the subject of listening, what are like 5 of your favorite albums? If you had to choose 5 or 10 of your all-time favorite albums, what
You're
are your
making it
go-tos?
making it difficult, dude. It's
You should have just said five of his best favorite licks to play.
well, no, it's
Okay, we'll go that route. My favorite lick.
okay, let's do 5 albums first. Um
All right.
let's see. Passion and Warfare, Steve Vai. Um
All right.
Southern Harmony and Musical Companion, do you know that? The Black
Oh,
Crows. That's like
Oh, I know
that's
the Black
like
Crowes. I don't know that.
that's their second record. Southern Harmony and Musical Companion. That is the anti-guitar technique. It's like good old Southern rock with great songs.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Uh, I, the the Bach cello suites by Katsuhito Yamashita. He's a Japanese classical
Mhm.
guitarist who plays and this is his Bach cello suites record, which I saw him
I'll have to check.
perform in person in San Francisco at a church. At the most unfortunate day, the Blue Angels were having an exhibition by the San Francisco Bridge.
oh
So
no.
while playing classical guitar, like jets would be flying over flying over the
Mm.
church once in a while, drowning everything out. But he did not get out of his space. It's like he was playing and he was like just in his zone and there's nothing else happening but him playing. It was actually amazing to watch. Um, that was three, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
uh,
that's three, man.
damn it. Um, let's see who else. Um,
We can always
okay, now
come back to this later
yeah, you
on
can
too.
you can go yeah, you can come
We're
back.
digging deep into it, man.
Yeah, I'll just blurt it out if I remember something suddenly. uh, Texas Flood. There you go, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Texas
Very
Flood.
fun. Great album.
Yep. And okay, one more. It'll come later.
Okay. Um, if you could play with any major band, who would be the major band that you would want to play for?
Mhm.
Oof. Current or all time?
Past, present, future. If you had to choose one from back in the day, one that's still going on, and one
You're
that's
Oh.
going
killing
on
him.
now, man.
You're killing him with this.
It's just-
Yeah, I'm a
okay.
guitar
Okay.
player, man, as
Okay.
well.
Here's the
So
here's the thing. 'Cause since I'm a fan of the bands that I liked growing up, I never really thought I never
yeah,
really saw myself playing with them because I liked them
Interesting.
as that unit. It's nothing like
yeah,
you know but now that it's I've been now that I can view it as work, then then that would be a possibility. However, I think instead of naming a band that I would like to be in, let me just maybe I'll just give you my ideal lineup.
Interesting.
Who I
oh
would
yeah,
want to be
yep.
in a band
Go ahead.
with. You know, okay.
Oh yeah,
So drummer would be uh Dean Castronovo. Either Dean Castronovo
oh
or
yeah. I met Dean before when he played.
oh, yeah, and then singer would be David Coverdale, of course. Um,
Oh yeah,
bass player
I
would
see.
be I don't know if you remember this, if you've heard of him. His name is Randy Coven. He was big in the
Randy
shred.
Coven.
Yeah. He's known for
Randy
having the
Coven
bass with
sounds.
bass with the whammy bar. Yeah, and he wrote
Oh yeah,
articles for he wrote for articles for Guitar World, I think. Um, yeah, so Randy Coven would play bass. See, yeah, and that would be the four piece. So me, Randy Coven, Dean Castronovo, and David Coverdale. That would be my band. Maybe a second guitar player, but I don't
oh
know who would that be. Yeah, yeah. So
pretty
that
awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
no,
I would.
Coven was recording the Vi and Mouse.
Hmm? Yeah, he was there. Um, yeah, cause see, I would have said I wanted to be in Whitesnake, but then that would also mean I would be replacing Steve Vai, and I don't I don't want to do that. you know, so
Even though Steve Vai steps in every now and then, because it's right now it's Joe Hoekstra and Red Beach.
yeah. But the Whitesnake I really liked was the one with Steve Vai and Adrian Vandenberg in it. But then the guys who came after him, Doug Aldrich, Joel Hoekstra and Red Beach, they're no slouches either, you know. So yeah, it would have
Oh
to
yeah,
be like a
they're great.
yeah, the stars would really align for me to get into that circle.
I have a question about your teaching actually.
Okay.
It's wondering if do your students bring you songs ever and being like, "Hey, I want to try to learn this," and if so, what are the types of songs that they bring in, and how do you incorporate music theory to teach them, like, "Hey, this is what they're doing, but this is what they're actually doing," which they may not be aware of, as in the band musician that they bring in, whether it's a jazz lesson in the end or teaching different scales or chords.
Okay. Okay. So back when I used to teach regularly in-person classes, and I'd have like all sorts of students. Um, we we always tackle songs, right? So I make them
Yeah,
I make them give me a list of like 10 songs that they want to learn, right? And then from there I can see which one I would choose as their first three chord song, you know, first bar chord song or power chord song or riff song, um, and then the soloing, and then eventually soloing song, because it depends. Because if they're like really rank beginner, like nothing, like you can't move the fingers yet, um, I would probably start with a riff song. Usually, I I if they don't have a preference, then I would teach like Cream, Sunshine of Your Love, just the root notes, because that will get the fingers moving, and it's repetitive enough so that
oh yeah, because it's like
it's just practice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So from
yeah,
yeah, and also one of my requirements when I teach is I we always finish the song. So the goal of starting a song is to be able to play
oh
it
yeah,
to a backing track after maybe like 3 or 4 lessons, or sooner if they really work on it,
yeah.
right? So yeah, so all these, and from there it's all the theory stuff is all is it's like it's like hiding vitamins in your cereal. You know, so here's the song and this is the theory component in it. Um,
Yeah.
like for that song "Sunshine for Your Love," but I'm actually training them to move their fingers independently instead of just doing this, right? Um, and then maybe uh, three chord song would be something like "Sweet Child of Mine," you know, DCG. You know, that way they can sort of work on changing open chords and with the strumming, or
Mhm.
strumming would be like a Green Day song as well. I mean, we I I know I used to use "Time of Your Life" to teach syncopation, you know, because
Oh
that
yeah,
way, yeah,
yeah,
that way it's not all like downstrokes. So you put accents on the down and the up as well, and all that.
yeah. It's all
So
up and down.
yeah, yeah. And also I keep in mind that not everybody wants to go deep into the theory rabbit hole. I mean,
True.
some students are fine with just, you know, learning the songs and looking forward to the next song and playing that to the backing track and showing it off to their buddies, right? um there were a couple who, and eventually I wait for them to ask me, like, how does this work? Because then when they're the ones who want to know more, then I can start discussing all the nitty gritty of the way things worked, right? Yeah, so that's pretty much my approach. Though nowadays, since I don't have a lot of time to devote to teaching, I pretty much take on students that are more advanced, more further along in their playing, and uh, people who I think I can help. Because sometimes they send me
Yeah.
a video of their playing just so that I can see. I was like, well, you don't need me. What do you need me for? you know. So yeah. So I mean, it's I don't take every teaching gig that comes my way. I mean, if I'm sure that I'm able to help, then I do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Going back to gear, what
Okay.
you can name 5 of your favorite pieces of gear that you've ever had? I'm sorry, that's how I
It's all 5. Okay.
I'm a gear nerd.
Fi-
I'm like, I can go through
Okay. Okay.
we'll go
5
10.
pieces.
We'll go 10. You can
I know
or how
that's all right. So 5 pieces of gear. Number 1 would be a Soldano tube amp, the SLO 100. That is my
Mm,
ultimate amp.
yeah.
Um, Number 2 would be this. Do you know what this is?
That's a
Nope.
Steve Vai gem, but not just
Yep.
any gem. That's the new one of the newer models, if I'm
It's
not
not a new
mistaken.
model. This is a 1990 floral gem. This is the Holy Grail.
Ooh.
This is
Wasn't
the
that about the
this was
20
introduced back in the David Lee Roth time. So this is my dream guitar, and I finally managed to score one.
Oh, it's pristine too.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so happy. It wasn't cheap, but but it's worth it. I have a couple of videos on this on my
I think
channel.
that's the same one that he used in Going Crazy
Going crazy and
or
just
Eat
like
'em and
Paradise.
Smile, if you will.
Yeah, just like Paradise actually. The Just like Paradise video.
Oh
He
yeah.
used that. Okay, what else? Mm, oh, I don't have it, but it's Eventide H90.
Oh yeah.
It's their new dual harmonizer multi effects processor. That's really really cool. Um, 3. Oh, have you heard of Shabbat guitars?
No, but that sounds hilarious.
Just
No,
say that one more time.
Shabbat, Shabat. They're based here
No.
in Los Angeles, and they make they make the best. I think the best modern guitars nowadays. Hold on,
Huh.
let me just.
Oh man.
That thing's a
So
beaut.
so they're based out of somewhere in the valley. So
Whew.
this is a Shabbat guitar, and hands
Yeah.
down these are the best modern made guitars right now. Again, they're not cheap, but they're worth it.
Wow. That Telly with the Floyd.
Yeah,
I,
with a weird headstock. This is something I had them I custom ordered from them. So
thing's
it's a Telly,
gorgeous.
looks beat up, 2 Lawler humbuckers, and original Floyd Rose. The wait is the This is the top one, and then
Okay.
this is sort of their signature, because
Oh
this is
wow.
based off of the 1949 Telecaster, the original Telecaster headstock, um,
Wow.
which a lot of people find this is a polarizing look. So a lot of people, some people like it, some people don't. I really like it.
I
You
love
know,
that. That thing is gorgeous.
yeah. So this
Looks
is.
amazing.
Have you guys heard of a Plek machine? Do you know what a Plek machine is?
Plek
No.
machine. No.
Okay, so basically, when
Can't say that I do.
it's uh it's like an automated robot that fixes frets. That- In the simplest terms. So it's a little booth. You hang your
Oh.
guitar in there, and then it's like a CNC machine with grinders. So and its sole job
Mhm.
is to level and set up the frets as perfectly as possible, right? So this guy Avi
Yeah.
Shabat took one of his guitars to the Plek booth at NAM and had the machine measure it. And he sent me the video. The graph of where the machine usually wants the frets to be adjusted, and the graph of
Wow.
his adjustment is like the exact same line, maybe a little off by this area. So his accuracy rivals that of a
That's pretty
computer
cool.
numerically controlled machine, and he does it by hand. So
Mhm.
That's
that's that
wild.
Yeah.
that's why I love these guitars. um and you'll see a bunch of these on YouTube too. I know Henning has a couple.
Mhm.
Michael Nielsen. Have you guys seen him? He does like gear demos as well. Um, their latest artist is Justin Derrico of The Voice,
Mhm.
and then I played at their NAM booth, and then the guy who played after me was Dweezil Zappa. so so
Love
they're
music.
so Dweezil uses Shabbat guitars too. You know,
Oh,
and
wow.
the thing I like about them the most is they're not too precious about building their guitars, because these are well I'll say that these are the
Yeah.
best guitars, some of the best guitars being built right now. They don't take themselves too seriously as far as aesthetics go, because these are tools.
Yeah.
Like let me show you this next one. Hold on. A lot of people are gonna have a field day with this, because this looks like a Strat, right?
Oh. It's a Shabbat. It's a Shabbat strat.
So it's like, yeah. So it's I yeah, I love this guitar so much, and
That's
there's
wild.
yeah, um, and there's a what do you call it? A practical reason for this too, because you know how Strats play differently from Les Pauls. Like Les Pauls are easier to
Oh, yeah.
bend. There's two main factors. The Gibson scale is shorter, so yeah, your
Oh, yeah.
strings are more slack, right? And then
Yeah.
the other the other reason is the headstock, because like Gibsons have three aside headstocks, and you can see the string length from the nut to the tuner is short
Yeah.
on these things, whereas on a Strat it's going to be like all the way here, right? So you have
Even on a
more
Kramer, it's
tension,
big.
even on a Kramer, like on
Yeah.
these things, right? So there's more tension behind the nut. There's more string tension behind the nut on a 6 in line headstock than a 3 in line. So
Yeah.
so this makes it really easy to bend the first strings and be in tune and all that. Yeah, but it's quirky enough that I just love the look. It's just it's their signature. So
You get that
this
gold pick
this one.
guard and that cream kind of body, cream white kind of body, huh?
These I the name of the
Hold on, I
guitar
think.
along with the look, I'm like,
What was that again? I missed it.
oh, the name of the
That
guitars
gold
along
pick
with the
guard with
looks
that
is just
cream kind of
perfect.
body.
Yeah. Uh. Okay. So that's three,
Shabbat.
right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Three, and
Was that?
that was three. Let's see what else.
So you had the Steve Vai Gem,
Yeah,
the
the Shabbat and
the
the Soldano.
Solano,
Soldano. Oh, here.
two.
Okay. and this is fun.
Oh wow, that's pretty gnarly. This is a nice looking.
A color changing strap.
So this is from Rocket Music Gear. My friends from Rocket Music Gear. I mean, gear doesn't have to be like stuff you plug in. It's you need to accessorize too. So
Yeah.
people will see this from a mile away. In fact, and the other thing I wanted to show you guys is this strap lock. Okay,
Interesting.
this is called the Rock Lock, and this is a universal strap lock. So you know how old
I
strap locks
just saw an advertisement.
you okay, good. So typical strap locks you have to change the button on your guitar so that it
Yeah.
makes perfectly. So this will work with any strap button, regardless
Oh wow.
regardless of the size. So look, like Kramers have the big strap buttons, right? So
Ooh.
so what you yeah so what this allows you to do is you can keep the strap on you, and you can just change guitars.
That's
So
something Dunlop should have done, but
yeah, oh well, you could do that with Scholars and Dunlops, but then all your guitars would
yeah,
need the Dunlop buttons,
yeah,
you know. Whereas this
exactly.
would work with any guitar. So it makes it easy if you have a wireless pack attached to the strap itself, and you're at a gig and you need to change the guitar. So instead of doing the whole dance of
Yeah,
unplugging and doing all that, you just unlock, change the guitars, lock it back up, and then plug in. No, it's
that's my
easy. I
next
mean,
investment.
yeah. So this is, and also the thing I like about this is even though these are plastic, these won't scratch your guitar finish, and also they are very
Mhm.
grabby. You know how like Dunlops and Scholars, after a while they loosen up, and then
Oh
if you don't keep
yeah, you
tightening
have to
them,
tighten them back up again.
yeah, then they loosen up, and if you forget, they don't do their job basically.
Oh yeah,
This one you only need to finger
I
tight it,
Oh,
almost have
and it
what
doesn't have. Yeah,
almost
I
dropped
I
my
hope
ex, ex, year less.
I, I hope it let go at the on the neck side, because that way you can catch it. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's that, and let's see. Oh, okay. Finally, you need very nice cables. Don't skimp on cables. Okay, so it's like this is a local
Can't
company.
go wrong with cables.
Yeah, Tsunami Cables. These are handmade in Temecula.
Oh yeah, I know
So
Tsunami. My buddies used to be endorsed.
oh, there you go. So yeah, so I mean, you don't have to go
Good
super
stuff.
crazy and buy the $1,000 cables, but ma- don't get the $15 Amazon ones either. Just get get a s- set your budget in the fifty
Go
dollar
for
range,
quality.
and go for something a little over that. And if you buy it from Guitar Center, they have a lifetime warranty. So if it breaks, you just go back and they change it.
oh yeah, being in many high school
Oh yeah,
bands, I would
with the
have
live
to go
wire and the
back.
monster cables to
Yep,
interchange them.
always the monster cable.
Yep, there
That
you
and
go.
the
That's why I
boss
stuck with live wire.
distortion.
I never had that.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Anything else you'd like to add, Brutal Brett?
Uh, I need to bow down to your musical prowess and
Oh
your
no.
shredding. Well, I would say that in regards to your theory, then, because you are the book in this case, and I want to thank you for shedding some light on all of it as well.
Oh well, it's my pleasure, and it's people just have to remember that it's not rocket science.
It's guitar science.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfecto. It was amazing to have you on the show. And thank you for agreeing to come on and having some laughs and talking about your career, man.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Go ahead and
It's been
tell
fun.
everybody where they can find you. And we'll put it in the description.
Okay. Website is perfectodecastro.com. And then on Instagram and TikTok, it's at Perf De Castro, which is, PERF De Castro. Just cut that short. And then on YouTube, it's at official Perfecto De Castro. That's it. Actually, just type me on Google and it'll come up.
Sounds. We'll go ahead and link all your social media, everything in the link in description, so everybody can go ahead and click and come find you.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah.
I want to thank you again, and for myself and Brutal Brett, this has been an episode of Fun Never Ends Podcast. Fun Never Ends Podcast can be found everywhere you find your podcast. Go to funneverendspodcast.com. Share, like, subscribe. Go to Perfecto De Castro's YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, and tell your friends.
Yeah.
For myself, Brutal
I got
Brett,
the fifth.
and
I got the fifth album.
De
Wait.
Castro. This has been an episode of Fun Never Ends Podcast. Thank you. See you next time.
Wait,
wait, hold on. I got the fifth album. Look for Schizophonic. Yeah, Schizophonic by Nuno Betancourt.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's like a.
That's why it's a Nuno album.
Yeah, it's an obscure Nuno solo record, but it sounds like extreme.
Well, dude, that'll be on my playlist.
Yeah, that's what extreme would sound like if they tried to be Nirvana.
They tried to be Nirvana.
Well,
all right. That'll be on my playlist for tomorrow on my drive to work.
Enjoy.
All right. Yeah. All right. This has been an episode of Never Ends Podcast. Thank you again, Perfecto De Castro, for myself and everybody else. We'll see you next time.